Heyo everybody, Haku here with my live reaction or read through for Tower of God Urek Mazino Chapter 14. I am excited as always to read. I've been loving the spinoff. Last chapter was so much fun to read, so much fun to record. I really like the character stuff we had going on, some more questionable hinting at lore stuff. It's really cool. I had a lot of fun. Even the fights, which I said I was kind of the least interested in, because I mean, it's just Urek walloping on Donjon. It was still fun. Again, it's not to me as compelling as like the story character stuff, but it was still fun, so I'm definitely not going to complain about getting a fun fight out of things. Even though, again, it's not even really much of a fight, honestly. So yeah, I don't think there's much more to say for the intro from where we left off on, so let's just read and talk about it as we go. Starting chapter 14 with Meanwhile with Urek. That's such a weird inclusion. I don't think we need that, because we spent most of last chapter with Urek, and we only sort of cut away for a small bit of something else at the end, which is normal to do at the end of a chapter. We've done it a bunch before and then didn't start the chapter with meanwhile whatever we're starting with. So kind of a weird box inclusion. Who would have known the head director? I'm so sorry you had to go through that, Miss Bunny. Was up to something so shady. So now Urek, they're pulling... See who's doing what he did with Mom, pulling the main character knows more than the audience thing. I wish I could go ruin everything for him. Which, again, I don't think personally is the strongest writing. You see it in most stories. The characters learn things when the audience learns them, so that the character is surprised when we're surprised. Or the audience learns things before the character does, so we know about this, but the character doesn't, so we're like, oh no, don't do this, or you're wrong about this, and then we have to go through the drama of seeing how the character acts without knowing all the information that we know as an audience. But to give the character information that we don't have as an audience, same thing with like what Urek knows about the outside world that we don't, it just creates a disconnect between the reader and the main character, I think. Because like now with the plot line going, with what Urek knows about the head director, it's like, okay, Urek has information now that could affect his actions or could affect the way that he's viewing things, but we as an audience, like, we don't know that yet, and we're saving the surprise of what's going on for us, the audience. But when we do get that surprise, it's going to be something that the main character is going to have already known. So I don't think it's the strongest writing-wise, and I think it's a big problem with Bomb moving out of like season 2-ish into season 3-ish, but yeah, it's around there when it started happening more. So like, to use examples, if we're comparing it to other like long-running shonens or anything, I've brought it up before, or even just Western stuff, it's like, okay, somebody like Harry, I don't know the most about Harry Potter, so it's maybe not the best example, but it's like he doesn't know about magic and all this stuff, and so when he gets thrown into the world of that stuff, he's learning as we're learning. And the same thing goes for, like, I cannot think of good examples. I do not watch and have not watched many Western things. Like Lion Witch in the Wardrobe. When they're tossed into Narnia, we're tossed into Narnia. They're learning as we do. But anything, it's like, even any isekai, it's like, okay, they get isekai'd and they're learning about how that world works as we're learning as an audience. Same with even things where they're not isekai'd, where it's like Naruto's just a buffoon. He somehow is going through the Ninja Academy, doesn't know what freaking chakra is properly or anything. So that gives us as an audience, like as Naruto's learning it, he doesn't know anything about the geography of the other countries around the country he lives in. So as he's learning things, we're learning things as an audience with him. Same goes for Bleach, with Ichigo just being a normal ass guy. Like, we're learning about things as he's learning about things. With One Piece, Luffy just, I guess, didn't really care. Like, we're learning things as Luffy's learning things, which is something that you could argue, like, some of these things he should maybe know if he wants to be a pirate, but that's part of the comedy, is that he doesn't know these simple things. So that's something we go through, and the same thing with Bomb. Bomb enters the tower with pretty much no backstory other than being in a cave with Rachel, so as we learn about Shinsu, it's Bomb learning about Shinsu, and that's how we're learning it. As we're learning about how the tower functions, it's Bomb learning about how the tower functions, and that's how we're learning it. And you get to a certain point where Bomb starts learning things, not just learning skills and techniques off screen, which is fine, it's just him pulling out new powers. Characters do that all the time. But learning things about, like, the plot and the lore that we aren't learning as characters. So when the main character knows things about the plot and the lore that we don't know about, there's just this disconnect of, like, okay, he's clearly thinking about things a certain way or acting a certain way because of things we don't know about. Why not just tell the audience? Why does the main character know but the audience doesn't? So sorry for the long side thing, but we're doing this with Urek now, and I just think that it's not super good writing wise, having, again, Urek just know things that the audio or the audience doesn't. Again, it'd be better to have, if anything, the audience learn about the sketchy, like when we're doing this cutaway stuff, the audience learn about the details of the sketchy stuff going on. That way we would have the drama of being like, oh, how's Urek going to react to this? How's Urek going to handle this if it's something dangerous or serious? But since Urek's knowing and we don't, it's like, okay, well, he's going to be doing actions, but we don't know. We don't know anything about that. It'll be a surprise for us, but once we get over that surprise, it's like we don't have to know how Urek reacts because he already knows. I wish I could go ruin everything for him, but I can't risk it. Not if I want to pass the test and move on to the next floor. If I miss that chance, forget about meeting the heads of the 10 families or Zahard. I might be trapped in this damn tower forever. And is this a new... I would assume this is a new Zahard, but it looks very similar to some Zahard art we've seen before. I think it's new. It does look a little different, but it's very similar to what we've seen before. I think the panel where he's posed like this and we're seeing him from this angle, from before, he might have had like the armored shoulder bits though. So it is somewhat different, I think. But that head director needs to die. He deserves it. Should I just go for it? It's so tempting. What's the matter with him? You have rumbling? You're next to it. And a crash of a foot. That looks like potentially the Queen's foot. I forgot to mention the thumbnail for this one had the Queen of the Net Dolphins in it. Yeah. It slams down. Long ass toe. Lots of gripper shots in Tower of God as of late. They've avoided. They have dodged Urek's secret technique. Huh? We see it. What the hell? And I wonder, it doesn't look censored this time. Did they just give up on that? Or does it depend on the panel? If they're like, okay, this is too difficult to redraw, if it's too difficult to censor, they won't do it. If it's too much work. Is that? Phew, it's huge. It's the Queen of the Net Dolphins. That thing shouldn't be roaming around. The Queen of the Net Dolphins? Yes, it's the ruler of all the net dolphins in this habitat. Run. There's no way you're taking it down. The ruler, huh? Sounds pretty intimidating. Hold on. That's... And we're gonna have Urek luck into finding the crown? The crown. Okay, no booba there. Again, that might just be how it looks in the original Korean, though. So, I don't know if it's censored or not. But why is it on its head? You know, it just likes shiny things. I wonder if it'll be intelligent. Can it speak? Ruler of the territory. It's the crown. Yo, Danjon, am I imagining that or what? No, I don't think you're imagining it. God, stop pulling my hair. He's shaking on his hair. Alright then, let's get it. Uh, get what? Don't tell me you're going to challenge the queen. Of course I am. I need to get that crown right. If it doesn't give it up, I'll take it by force. I really I like Urek and Donjon's relationship so much. If anything, I feel like Urek's been given more time with Donjon than any of the other regulars. So I kind of hope that they sort of stay in touch a bit or can be allies in the future and stuff. If it doesn't give it up, I'll take it by force. Don't be ridiculous. The queen is more powerful than you could ever imagine. Hold on. This one is different from the other regulars. He might actually manage to beat the queen. It's highly unlikely, of course, but if that does happen, that would be a disaster. Wait, Mazino, stop. Okay, so yeah, the queen is supposed to take out the regulars here. But this is crazy if he's like, Urek might be able to beat the queen, but it's unlikely. So the queen is so strong that even a ranker like Donjon, I almost called him a high ranker, but I think he's just a regular ranker. But even a ranker like Donjon feels like somebody who's stronger than him, somebody who kind of whooped his ass, would be highly unlikely to be able to beat the queen of the Net Dolphins. You can't attack the queen. Just a little love tap. And especially like, here at the second, something so strong living on the second floor. Just a little love tap. He punches the queen. Gah! Why the hell would you do that? Starts wobbling. The crown looks very small in this panel compared to some of the panels before. A few minutes ago in the test director's waiting room. No, the queen has emerged. This is exactly what I feared would happen. We have Gisli and Heidi. I always want to call her Hilda. I think it's Heidi. And it's wearing the crown. This couldn't get any worse. Any regular who tries to take that crown will be killed. I like the other test directors caring about the regulars and stuff. What's head director Rahab thinking? We need to stop this before things spiral out of control. Like Gisli, I feel like has come a long way as a character for me. No, then you'll be punished for interfering with the test. So what? I can't just stand by and watch them get slaughtered. Wait, I see Donjon right next to the queen, and that looks like a regular. Donjon, maybe he realized the queen was emerging and went to save the regulars. I didn't expect that from him. I guess this makes up for his personality. Almost makes up for his personality. I really like them. He must have gone to save them. That's amazing. Actually, he's just lying on the ground. Freaking Donjon, I love him. Also, you know, the wrinkles around Gisli's eyes. Kind of doing something for me. Hey, we like MILFs around here. Oh my God, older women. Actually, he's just lying on the ground. What? Is he asleep? Look. Urek punches it. Did that regular? We see the recoil, like the pressure caving in the side of the cheek. Just punch the queen. He reaches for the crown, but looks like its hand is protecting it. It's able to block. Oh, he lands and kicks off. Lands again. Damn, that was just a love tap, but still, you can take a punch. Is he going to fall in love? I mean, I don't blame him. Stop it. I said you can't attack the queen. Oh, why not? I need the crown to win this game, don't I? Yes, that's true, but you can't kill the queen to get it. Now you're not making any sense. The queen's the most crucial part of this ecosystem. Huh? Look, the queen only feasts once a day. As soon as the queen awakens, the net dolphins manipulate Shinsu to create a net in the water so they can prepare the queen's food. So does the queen just change shape when she goes in the water then? And that would kind of make sense, because the version of the queen that we saw in season 1 of the main series, it's like, okay, it makes sense that she's floating in the water to feed or whatever, but does she just float in the water when she's not feeding, just in that same shape or whatever? But maybe she walks around on land like this, then goes to the water to go into feeding form, and then goes back to look like this. But then again, isn't Bomb like cut out of the big floppy fishy queen stomach at the end of season 1? Or is that maybe just an anime thing? No, it's Rachel who comes out, right? Because Rachel's in the bubble. Yeah, it's Rachel who is in the bubble and comes out. And I guess that isn't necessarily her being cut out or anything. She just she got pooped out by it, I guess. For some reason I remember there just being some, like, fishy gut bits, like somebody was cut out of it. For some reason I remember a scene like that, but it might have just been an anime thing. But if so, does this mean that this queen was the one from season 1? So they can prepare the queen's food. They close in the net, herding the fish to the center, and offer them up to the madam who'll swallow them all. Okay, so we are seeing the feeding form. The madam's job is to put the feast together. The queen will begin to feast once the food is ready. Okay. So the madam isn't the queen. The madam is what we saw in the first season. Okay. So it's not really a retcon, it's just that thing isn't the queen. The queen will begin to feast once the food is ready, and nearby animals will join in. You see, net dolphins are the only organisms here who can hunt for themselves, which means the other animals are entirely dependent on the queen for their food. And we see like this quadrupedal whale creature, a walrus of some kind, and such. If you kill the queen, there won't be any more feasts, and all those animals will go extinct. So you're saying the queen's holding this ecosystem together. Exactly. That's why you can't kill the queen to get the crown. And then, I didn't realize you were so darn important. So I guess the queen cannot go with Evelyn then. You can go. Thank you. Okay, it speaks. And walks off. It's huge. I didn't expect, like, when we saw it pick up the crown before, I didn't expect it to be this huge. Phew. Thank goodness it left. It's walking away. These two were really cute. These two were really cute this chapter. What was he thinking? There was no guarantee the queen wouldn't strike back. What was his name? Urek Mazino? Yes, he's a fisherman. Well, he's really something else. Also, how are they supposed to get the crown at this point? If she wants it, if she wants the crown, she just wants to keep it. That's why they have a new one for that's why they have the cheap Burger King crown for the crown game in season 1, because this one just got kept by the queen and they didn't have budget for another one like this. You know what's strange though? As far as I know, the queen doesn't forgive any creature that invades its territory or displays such blatant aggression. Why is it just leaving then? This is not even a speculation, really, but some predators will avoid conflict if they realize their opponent's strength is equal to or even greater than their own. It could be this, what I was immediately thinking was because he's an irregular, and sometimes the tower just treats irregulars a certain way. I thought maybe it was because he was an irregular, but now it's like, yeah, it's because he's an irregular, but it's also because he's damn strong. Are you saying that regular's stronger than the queen? No, of course not. That's impossible. I don't understand why the queen emerged now, when it usually feasts much later in the day. Not that it has a designated feeding time, but still. I wonder if it is related to Evelyn, though, because we saw Evelyn, like, have this moment where it seemed like the queen was reacting, like when we cut over to the queen. It seemed like it was reacting to Evelyn being in distress. So maybe it's not going with Evelyn, but this is just a part of Evelyn tapping into some powers or something. Since we're bringing this up, maybe it is related to that. And I've said this before, but I like the art style that they've been doing with Gisli's cloak. What's really going on here? Maybe it's simply reacting to the regulars' presence. And I wonder if are the flowers or whatever part of its body, or did it just like make that because it looks pretty? I suppose that's it then. We have Baskerville watching. I wondered if I should get involved when I first saw the Queen, but it looks like that won't be necessary. The Queen has accepted the intruder's presence. In other words, it recognized that new regular as the new ruler of this habitat. Urek Mazino has taken her throne. From this point on, all that happens in this territory will be subject to that man's will. Was that the biggest fish around here? God, I can't get over how annoying that head director is. Maybe I should just give up on the test and kill him. But I'm not sure if that's a good thing. Hopefully this game won't turn out to be a disaster. Meanwhile, the bull's nest. We have all of the bulls here, with Evelyn and not Rue. Okay, he's waking up. He whispers over, "Hey, can you..." Then she shushes him. Quiet. See a drop of blood? So Chungum is at the test site. Yes, I don't know what's gotten into him. Okay, Chungum. Chungum. Is it... It might be Chung-um. I don't know if it's Chun-gum or Chun-gum or Chung-um. Probably Chung-um. Probably. Yes, I don't know what's gotten into him. Then again, Chun is a common, like, syllable. So is gum, because it's like sword. So it might be Chung-gum. Yes, I don't know what's gotten into him. He said he's going after the ascetic that escaped. Holy lips. Looking like a Boichi goldfish out here. I thought I told him the regular's test site is off limits. This will be quite a headache for Rahab. Oh well. Let him wander where he pleases. It's not like anyone will recognize a fated jewel like him. Okay, so this is somebody different? Okay. In fact, it doesn't matter if someone sees him for what he is. She will awaken. Once darkness consumes that flower. Okay, who is she? Once the brightest, now the darkest. Oh, hold on. That's one of the Shining One gemstones or whatever. Doesn't matter if someone sees him for what he is. So, Rahab is maybe one of the people working with Fintaminum, one of Fintaminum's goons, so to speak. And maybe these are just people working for Rahab. I don't know if they're on the same level as Rahab, as far as worshippers of Fintaminum or followers of Fintaminum. Maybe it's just him and they are followers of him, and it's sort of like that structure. But it seems like maybe Fintaminum went into the tower and can take the gems and through some method within the tower corrupt them and turn them to dark. Because they say once the brightest, now the darkest. So they took the gem, I think that's it, and maybe they're sacrificing the ascetics to the gem in order to turn it dark. So once it awakens, it'll be the Shining One that got sealed, except they're getting Norded, to throw in a Kingdom Hearts reference. Mago. The one who shall become the new queen of this tower, by the will of Fintaminum. So, if there are multiple towers, could Fintaminum be going around to multiple towers and just putting the gems there and having the gems become dark and take over as queens of the towers or kings of the towers, so that Fintaminum is like building this empire under himself? Very cool stuff. Man, this is a good chapter. The only thing that's a little silly is like, now Urek's the alpha. The queen accepted him as, the leader of this realm or whatever. It's like, it didn't really seem like that. I mean, he's not going to be staying in the realm or whatever. But this was really good. I like the stuff here at the end too. Again, it depends on where it goes. It could go somewhere that's not that good, but I'm hooked in right now. I am totally into it right now. I thought that the stuff with Pedri, Gisli, and I think Pedri is a better way to do his name. Pedri, Gisli, and Heidi. I think the stuff with them was really fun. And then I like Urek and Donjon. I just like them. I like the Queen. I hope we actually get to see more. The way it was wrapped into the way season 1 stuff worked, I think was fun. Especially if there's other things that are funny, like, you know, if the Queen just keeps the crown or whatever, we can just always make the joke that she kept it, and that's why they had to end up with the cheap crown once we got to season 1. So there's a lot of fun stuff here, in my opinion. I liked this a lot, personally. So yeah, I don't think there's much else to say. I thought it was really good. Let me show the credits while I'm talking. Yeah, very good, very fun. I enjoyed it a lot. So I guess that's it. I don't have much more. So like if you did like the video, comment down there to tell me what you thought of this chapter, my thoughts and reaction and all that. Subscribe for more if you want more One Piece, much more on the channel, or One Piece, more Tower of God, much more on the channel. Follow on Twitter if you want. If you want a link to the Discord server, it's free and open for anyone. If you want to help support the channel so I can keep making videos, share it around if you want, or drop a super thanks. It's very appreciated. If you want to help support the channel but also get One Piece videos early, get your name at the end of videos. You could just hit join down below to become a member. Go to patreon.com/Haku of the Tubes, or a link will be in the description to become a patron. Thank you to people who are already members and patrons. Thank you to chosen regulars Evan Hawley and Bertie Wooster, Magical Girls JA, The D-Ban, and Maru, Cheriton Student, David Langstaff, Slayer Candidates, SG, and Stan Cedar, and Pure Elements, Pater Dial, and Elsa the Storyteller. Thank you for your support. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next time.